Okay, so physics. We're going to go to a table, we're going to create a new layer and call it physics. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add some of the other objects that aren't walls. As you'll see, I have added a few more walls where they were since the last video. So, but now we're going to add some of the rubber objects. So I'm going to go to the VPW example table. I'm going to copy one of the rubber post primitives and I'm going to paste it on the table. So we've now got this on our table and we can put this anywhere we want. At the moment, it hasn't got physics material. So what we need to do is we need to go into our material manager. We need to import some physics materials. Now, I exported them from the example table. So I put them here, but they're all called zcol and then what they are. So once they're in there, because we've copied and pasted this one from the other one, it automatically populates it. So this is a sleeve. So what we're going to do is our huge amount of photos we took earlier on, we went and researched earlier on, we know where to put these things. So we know here's a sleeve. So we're going to put a sleeve up here. Actually, no, these are 20.5 in size on a real machine. So we position them in roughly the right place. This is where it comes in really handy if the actual table image itself has got holes, because you can position them dead center. They don't always go in the middle of the normal circle that you think with the artwork, because when the artwork's printed, it can be printed in the wrong place. So we chuck it there because that's dead center of the hole, which should be about right. We go back to our blueprint again. So that's what we can do with sleeves. So we can put one there and anywhere else there is one. Now here we've got a rubber band. So we can put the rubber post here. So this is actually a rubber post. We go down to rubber posts. And obviously it's too small, so you go in size. It's going to be about 34. Or maybe a bit bigger, 36. That's probably about right. Copy and paste this one and stick it at the other end. Then what we do is we can lock those two into position. Actually, we can check again with the playfields to make sure they're in the right place. Again, the blueprints aren't to be trusted 100%. Playfield holes are super accurate because that's exactly where they have to be placed when they're screwed into the table. We're going to get a wall. We're going to put a wall here. We're going to connect it at the top and the bottom, both sides. Zoom in, make sure it's lined up with the posts so you don't get any weird bounces. Lock it into position and then go to physics, and this one is actually a rubber band. So you've got these are rubber posts and this is a rubber band. What that means is when the ball hits these ones, it acts differently than it does when it hits this, because rubber posts are bouncy, but rubber bands are really bouncy. The other thing you'll see is here we've got it actually cuts through into this wall. Now if you look at the photo, you can see that the actual rubber band deflects on that metal wall. So we can click this rubber band, click add point, make it smooth, unlock it, then just move it around like that. It doesn't really matter because it doesn't interact with that side of the rubber band, but it stops it cutting through that wall, and if a ball came up the metal ramp, it would hit that and do odd things. So that's how we make a rubber band. So you go around the entire table and do all of those. The next one you want to do for rubber ones is down the bottom is the slingshots. Now these are basically the same, and the way I do these generally is I'll make the posts for the corners, copy and paste again. This is where it's a little bit different. So actually what we can do is, again, we want to make sure we do this, and I'm not going to go too fast, is make sure these go dead center to all the holes. Lock these in position. Go back to the blueprint because it's slightly easier to see what we're doing. Then drag these. Now the reason I do this is to stop balls getting trapped. So if we go down here, we connect it to that corner there. Add a control point here. Move this. Now this is where it's a little bit different. Move it to here, somewhere out of the way. Make another control point, move it to about here. Okay, so this is the back end of our sling. We can lock this and make it a rubber band. So that's the back end. For the front end, we make another wall. Put it here. Along the front. This is your slingshot area. Now, the difference here is the front of this is where you get the slingshot effect. However, we don't want it to slingshot when it's up here because that doesn't make any sense. So we put another control point roughly there, roughly there, and then I'm going to get this wrong because it's either one way or the other. I can't remember if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. When you go to here, you right click and you click slingshot. And now you'll see that that line there, there's a black line along the front. That means that part is a slingshot. So if you click on this, it will have the hit event. You click hit event. It has a hit threshold and a slingshot force. So that part there will now act as your slingshot. And then you just do the same for the other side. That is pretty much what we do for most of the rubbers on the table. Obviously that's a slightly different one, but once you've done all of this, for later on, once you've done them all, or as you've gone along, you click all of your rubber objects on the table, and you go to collections, rubber. We've got rubbers there, so if you right click on them, add to collections, rubbers. Now the reason for that is both for the sound and physics later on, so you know what the objects are. And also, if you go to the posts, let me double check if we've got the collections. Right, so you have all the posts. You can create new from selection. We want something called D posts. So now these are all in a thing called D posts. And then the sleeves. I want to add to a collection called D sleeves. This is for the scripting later on. It does different things for sleeves and posts. So you go through the entire table, you make sure they're all in the right place, and that is how you do those.